Picture this, a half-pound block of butter so deeply golden it looks carved from sunlight. Not the pale yellow rectangle wrapped in foil at your grocery store. Not that watered-down, additive-packed, government-approved fat substitute sitting in your fridge right now. I'm talking about Amish gold, a butter so rich, so dense, so criminally nutrient-loaded that the FDA has made it nearly impossible to produce legally in the United States. You're about to learn how to make it anyway. Before modern food regulation existed, every farm family in America knew how to produce food that could sustain a family through hard winters, droughts, and collapse. To help you master these traditions, we've organized everything into 2 comprehensive systems. Get 100 Amish recipes for hard times and the Amish Pantry Blueprint today. These 2 books give you the complete collection of traditional kitchen wisdom and the exact 45 preservation methods to build a self-sufficient pantry. Check the link in the description or the pinned comment to grab your bundle and save today. Real butter. Salt pork that lasted 2 years without refrigeration, fermented tonics that replaced medicine, bread that soldiers carried for months without it rotting. That knowledge didn't disappear by accident. It was replaced systematically by a food industry that profits when you can't feed yourself. And today I'm giving it back to you. 10 recipes, 1 tutorial, all of it rooted in Amish and pioneer tradition, all of it more nutritious than anything on a modern store shelf. Stay until the end, because recipe 7 contains an ingredient so powerful frontier healers called it the silent cure, and modern medicine has quietly confirmed they were right. The 1924 U.S. Pasteurized Milk Ordinance was the beginning of the end. Before that legislation, Americans consumed raw, cultured, full-fat dairy products. Those products provided fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K2, in their most bioavailable form. Butter made from the cream of grass-fed cows contained butyrate and conjugated linoleic acid. Today, commercial butter sold in U.S. supermarkets must contain a minimum of 80% butterfat by law, and most brands hover right at that floor, padded with water and salt. Amish-style cultured butter, made from raw cream that has been fermented with live bacterial cultures, routinely tests above 86% fat. In most states, selling it commercially is either restricted or outright prohibited due to raw milk regulations. But making it for yourself, in most states, that's still legal. Let's make it. What you need: 1 quart of the highest fat heavy cream you can source, 2 tablespoons of cultured buttermilk or live culture yogurt, and 1-2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. Step 1. The culture ripening process. This is what makes it illegal. Pour your cream into a clean glass jar. Add the cultured buttermilk. Stir gently. Cover the jar with a cheesecloth or loose lid, never airtight, and leave it at room temperature, between 65 degrees and 72 degrees, for 12 to 18 hours. This is the step commercial dairies skip entirely. During fermentation, Lactococcus lactis bacteria consume the lactose. This deepens the flavor, increases butterfat density, and makes the final product easier for your body to digest. After 18 hours, your cream will smell alive. That smell is diacetyl, the same compound that gives European-style butter its distinctive richness. This is the answer to why it destroys grocery store butter. Step 2. The churn. Transfer your cultured cream to a stand mixer bowl. Begin whipping at medium speed. At approximately 6 to 8 minutes, you will hear a distinct slapping sound. That sound is unmistakable. It is the sound of real food being born. Stop the mixer immediately when you see bright yellow clumps pulling away from a thin white liquid. That liquid is true cultured buttermilk. Save it. It is extraordinary in pancakes, biscuits, or fermented bread dough. Step 3. Washing and packing. Drain the buttermilk. Now press the butter clumps together and begin working in ice-cold water. Pour, knead, pour again. You are rinsing residual buttermilk from the fat. If you leave it in, your butter will go rancid within days. Keep washing until the rinse water runs completely clear. The color will be a deep, almost orange-tinged gold if your cream came from pastured cows. That color is beta-carotene from the grass they ate. Commercial butter is that pale yellow because the cows never saw sunlight. Your Amish gold will keep for 3 to 4 weeks refrigerated, or up to a year if you pack it in a salt crock, as traditional Amish dairies have done for 2 centuries. Coming up next, the original Gatorade, and the reason Civil War soldiers swore it was more effective than any medicine in the field doctor's bag. Recipe 1. Switchel. The original Gatorade. Before electrolyte powders, before sports drinks, before anyone had ever heard of sodium bicarbonate tablets, American farmers were mixing Switchel in clay jugs and bringing it to the hayfields. The formula: apple cider vinegar, water, ginger, and either molasses or raw honey. That's it. The formula: apple cider vinegar, water, ginger, and either molasses or raw honey. That's it. And the science behind it is legitimate. Apple cider vinegar provides acetate, which supports electrolyte absorption. Molasses delivers magnesium, potassium, and iron. Ginger suppresses inflammation in overworked muscles. Recipe 2. Salt pork. The 2-year shelf life meat. Salt pork is not bacon. Bacon is cured and smoked. Salt pork is simply pork bellies or fatback packed so aggressively in salt that microbial life becomes impossible. No refrigeration required, no nitrates, no additives. Settlers in the 1800s packed salt pork into barrels and stored it in root cellars, where it remained edible for 18 to 24 months. The technique is dead simple, and the results are extraordinary. Cover the pork completely with non-iodized salt. In 2 weeks, it's ready. Render it in a cast iron pan before adding to beans or stews. This kept settlers fed for up to 2 years. Recipe 3. Dandelion wine, the banned tonic. Dandelions were systematically destroyed by lawn herbicides, yet they are more nutrient-dense than milk or spinach. The wine carries powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Recipe 4. Fermented sour Reuben. Sour Reuben, German for sour turnips, is to turnips what sauerkraut is to cabbage. Lacto-fermented using only salt and thyme, it produces a product that stores for months without refrigeration and delivers billions of live lactobacillus organisms per serving. To make it, shred 2 pounds of peeled turnips on a box grater or in a food processor. Combine with 1 tablespoon of non-iodized sea salt. Massage aggressively for 5 minutes until the turnips release liquid. Recipe 5. Hardtack, the Civil War bread. 3 ingredients. Flour, water, salt, baked twice until all moisture is eliminated. Done correctly, hardtack stores indefinitely. Civil War era. Hardtack biscuits were recovered from battlefields decades later and, while inedible, showed no mold or biological decay. Recipe 6. Apple cider vinegar fire tonic. Amish communities called this black medicine. It's a raw infusion of antimicrobial roots. Take 1 tablespoon daily through cold and flu season. Recipe 7. Rendered tallow, the lost cooking fat. Before vegetable oils took over, this was the primary fat. It's shelf-stable and loaded with fat-soluble vitamins when sourced from grass-fed beef. Recipe 8. Water glassing eggs. Using pickling lime to seal the pores of unwashed eggs. This allows them to remain edible for up to a year without any refrigeration. Only works on unwashed eggs. Raw honey is the only food on Earth with an indefinite shelf life. Archaeologists have recovered 3,000-year-old honey from Egyptian tombs and confirmed it was still edible. The chemistry behind this is elegant. Natural honey contains less than 18% water, making it hostile to microbial life. It also produces trace amounts of hydrogen peroxide as a byproduct of enzyme activity. Amish communities use raw honey not just as a sweetener, but as a wound dressing, a cough suppressant, and a preserving medium. Fruit submerged in raw honey, a technique called honey packing, can store for up to 2 years without refrigeration. Recipe 10. Long bone broth, the 24-hour extraction. Bone broth has been repackaged and sold in expensive cartons at modern grocery stores. What's in those cartons is typically a 2 to 4 hour simmer, sufficient to extract some collagen but nowhere near what Amish and pioneer cooks understood. Traditional bone broth was a 24-hour process. At that duration, the collagen in long bones and marrow completely breaks down into gelatin, glycine, and proline, amino acids critical for joint repair, gut lining integrity, and skin elasticity. The resulting liquid gels solid when refrigerated, a quality almost no commercial product achieves. These 10 skills are not nostalgia, they are infrastructure. Every generation that forgets these methods becomes more dependent. Start with the butter. Skills compound. The best time to learn is right now. Share this with someone who still cooks from scratch. Leave a comment. Which recipe are you making first? I'll see you in the next one. Stay prepared, stay sovereign, stay fed.